Hey guys, welcome to the Macro Trader Update. Today is Thursday, March 28th. What we got on the agenda today is we'll quickly go over our macro dashboard just to see how macro is looking right now. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin ETF flows. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana using technical analysis with DeMark. And then we'll do a little bit of an update on a Robinhood account and a new position that we added. So let's dive in. All right, so looking at the general markets right now, the S&P is flat at about 0.06%, and same thing with the NASDAQ. It's down a little bit at negative 0.16%. Just the market's been consolidating the last couple of weeks, and we knew that. We talked a little bit about it and what Jim Carson mentioned. Basically, end of the quarter, the ETF or just the options flows, basically there's no underlying purchases, so create some weakness in the market. We were expecting, a 2 to 10% pullback or a consolidation sideways, and it looks like the consolidation sideways happened. Tomorrow the market's not open, so it's closed for Good Friday. So I won't be posting a video tomorrow unless something kind of catastrophically goes wrong. So I'll keep you guys posted. But overall, looking at the general market via the S&P and the NASDAQ, things are just kind of trading sideways as usual. I'm looking to see things pick up potentially next week. Also, we do have the JP Morgan caller. For you guys who don't know, it's basically just a huge purchase or a huge option that's kind of holding the market up right now. And essentially that they're going to be rolling that option until June. So that's a couple $1 million worth of options. So I think that's another thing that's kind of making the market not as volatile. And so just kind of everything's just kind of in a holding pattern right now and hoping to see it break to the upside. With the options and the underlying purchase for delta hedging not going on and seeing the market not even dip a crazy amount, I think this is really good news. I think that looks really good for the market, and it seems like somebody's is buying it, even though the market and general people are doing kind of a quarter rebalancing as well, which could add to selling pressures. It's kind of good for the market right now that it's been holding up pretty well. So let's see how it holds up next week, and we'll see. Everything else, the VIX is down today at 3.4% right now. It's just kind of on a downtrend currently, so nothing major from the VIX. And then looking at the dollar, we thought it was going to be peaking right here on March 22nd, but it looks like it's making a higher break towards some of the upper range. So again, could be risk off for a little next day or two, maybe a couple days into next week, but hopefully after that we'll kind of see the dollar back off and continue down. Treasuries are kind of trading sideways. Both the 2-year and the 10-year note have been trading sideways for a little bit. So this environment right now is probably not good for treasuries and for bonds in general. Right now, we don't know what's going to happen to kind of inflation and the economy. So a lot of folks that I've been listening to just aren't very bullish on bonds right now. So it makes sense that they're kind of trading sideways and potentially could be losing their values. A lot of people are still thinking yields could go all the way up to 5 to 10%. 5 to 6%, just so people can get adequately compensated for holding some of those duration risks, holding bonds. Gold is doing good. Gold is up 0.16% today and kind of just on an uptrend. We're above the moving average right here, so things look good. We do have some upper targets right here for $23,000. I do have a couple of contracts for gold open right now, and so when we get closer to this level, start laying out of those calls or those futures trades for gold. And then oil's been pretty much on an uptrend as well too. It's kind of above our moving average, and then we have some upper targets here of $83 and then $85 as upper targets. I have about like 4 contracts or futures contracts for oil right now. So again, it's starting to rally a little bit more today, and so I'm going to start peeling back these as we start getting up to the 85 level. So overall, market in a holding pattern, like we mentioned, just kind of trading sideways and just waiting for basically some of the options flow to come back in, and then we'll kind of hopefully see some movement up and then the market picking up and appreciating hopefully in the next week or so. Then moving over to the Bitcoin ETF flows, yesterday on the 27th, we had a really good uptick again, $240 million right now. Again, GBTC is still outflowing like crazy, and so I think that's still going to kind of continue. Their fees are just a lot higher than some of the other ETFs, and so I think that outflow is going to kind of continue. Eventually, it's probably going to settle down, and then we'll probably see some higher numbers here. And then on the 26th, yesterday, the day before that, we had about 400 million. So general direction has kind of been kind of up again for the Bitcoin ETF inflows. Again, we mentioned this before. This is just kind of the US ETFs. I'm sure other countries and other sovereign wealth funds are actually getting involved with these, but we do know that Hong Kong and some of the other India and some of the other countries in the world as well too are starting to release their own ETFs. So I think this is again still really bullish for Bitcoin. We're about halfway through the cycle, so I think this is going to be good, and we're going to kind of continue looking forward and watching this. And then for those that aren't familiar, this is what we've been using, kind of our long-term indicator for Bitcoin. This is from Wealth Umbrella, so it does a combination of both on-chain metrics and some AI and some machine learning as well too on this. They actually just updated this model, and everything still looks good. And just as a quick recap, we do have these regions color coded. Red is generally a downtrend, and this is when you want to be picking up and start adding to your portfolio for Bitcoin. When we start entering this green region, as you see here in the past, this is kind of a really good appreciation point. Things start going parabolic, and things are about and right now we're currently in the green region, probably about halfway. As you see in the last cycle, green indicating just the halfway. We're starting to pull back a little bit. We had this little bit of a pullback, and we haven't even entered this blue zone yet. So the blue zone is the other second half of the Bitcoin appreciation cycle. So as you can see here, we hit this point right here at about 40,000. We rallied all the way up to 64,000. So again, long-term picture, I think this is why we still think we're about halfway in the Bitcoin cycle right now. And we haven't even started getting into this blue region yet. Stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated as we start seeing some risk, and then we'll start pulling back and exiting some of our Bitcoin positions as we see this tool appreciate. Another thing they have is basically some of the on-chain metrics as well too. This blue region right here just means just some increased risk, but we really don't see any major risk until we start breaking above the 4 for this indicator right here. So again, still very good right now. Things kind of de-risked a little bit, and the pullback was healthy. So I think we're just going to continue to consolidate sideways, if not break forward and kind of appreciate in price. So let's go over to the technicals on DeMark and see what Bitcoin is doing. All right, so looking at the DeMark indicators right now, we have a 4 sell setup, indicating the general direction is going to be up. Right now, we also have the RSI moving into the middle of the range, so momentum is picking up. I think we're going to kind of break above here. Some lower levels here are going to be 65,000, and then some upper targets of 78,000. 79,000, almost 80,000 here. I really do think we're going to kind of break forward over the next couple of days, and we'll kind of continue watching that. Really strong support here at 58,000. I don't think we're anywhere close to that yet. So, and then also our MACD indicator is about to converge right here, indicating just a general direction, a reversal, and then kind of continue appreciating up in price. Looking at the hourly right now, we are in a buy setup of 3, indicating just the general direction is going to be down. I think we'll probably hold this. Some key support here is 69,000, and some further support down here at 68,500, and then some really good support down here at 66,000. So I don't think we'll be seeing that level anytime soon. I think we're going to probably break up to the upside here. We do have some upside targets of 78,000, 75,000 right here, and then 73,000 right here as well too. And then diving over to the weekly charts, we still have these upper targets from before of 75,000. I think we're going to try to break towards this level. RSI is just still in the overbought region, but that's okay. We saw it kind of stay in this range for a decent amount of weeks, a couple of weeks. So I think the halvening is also coming up in the middle of April. So we'll kind of see. I think post halvening, there could be a potential little bit of a dump in the price, but I really think with these Bitcoin ETF flows, I think this kind of continues on as a nice pattern here. So overall, looking at all the charts, Bitcoin looks still very constructive, either going to be trading sideways or breaking above. Right now, I think a lot of the weakness in the market is gone. So, and then quickly looking at Sol right now, Solana, we have upside targets of 228. Still a lot of activity going on in Solana right now. We have a 4 sell countdown, indicating the general direction is going to be up. And then RSI is just starting to come out of this. So I think we're going to start breaking out of this and start seeing Solana probably hit this 228 level pretty quickly. We have some lower support down here of 160. So I don't think we're going to be hitting that level anytime soon. Looking at the hourly, we have some support here or some resistance here at 197. So if you guys are going to be doing some quick trading, 197 will probably be a nice level to get out of. And then we have some major targets up here of 216 as well too. So if you're doing this a short-term trade, get out a little bit, maybe a third or half of your position here at 197, and then get out of your another half of the position here at 216. If you're holding a long-term, keep holding on. We have some support here at 180 and then also 166. This on the weekly chart, we do have this 9 sell countdown, but here we just saw it kind of consolidate sideways and it still broke forward. So again, maybe Solana is going to take a little bit more time than Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't have some of these major DeMark on the weekly time frame, but we do have some upside targets of 243 and RSI and the weekly chart and everything for Solana is looking pretty good. All right, and then just doing a quick update of our Robinhood account. Not much has changed here except for I did add a call for Mara at $32 expiring in September 20. It's actually doing pretty well. It's up 28% and up $128 right now as well too. Today we're down about 6% right now. Things are kind of breaking up again. I think some of the market trading sideways and trading down is going to affect crypto as well too, but hopefully in the next week or two things start picking up. Most of our positions, I do check all these charts on a daily. Any positions that we have on here, I do check the charts daily just to see if there's anything alarming, whether we need to take it off, the position off, or take profit in the position. But none of these have any major concerns from a chart, so I'm going to keep holding on, but I'll kind of update you guys on the chart of Mara and kind of my thought process for Mara. So Mara's chart looks pretty constructive. On the daily, we have a 2 for a sell countdown, indicating the general direction is going to be up. We have some upper targets here of $30, and also our MACD right now is converging and looking for a breakout to the upside right now. Looking at the hourly right now, we have some upper targets of $26, and then we did have these 9s hit right now, so probably consolidating for a little bit, and then hopefully into next week we can see some more price appreciation for the miners. And then looking at the weekly chart right now for Marathon, this is some of the upper targets I'm looking for. 134 for our D-Wave projection up. I think we'll probably hit some of these price targets again later on the cycle, probably at the very end of the cycle. Right now we do have some local targets here of $35, and that's why we decided to go with the $32 call option. I'm not sure when this is going to happen, but that's why we decided to buy a little bit more time with the September expiry. And then some support here, probably going to bail out if we get, below $14 or below $18 here. So that's going to be our bailout point. So if we start breaking below some of these lows right here, we're going to get out of those options that we have right now. That's some of the reasons why we got into this trade. The charts look pretty good and the technicals look pretty good for Mara. I was initially, we're really heavy into CleanSpark and then also Riot. Riot hasn't been performing that great, and I'm just looking at the Mara chart. I've still been following. Hadn't had any positions on it in Mara, but it's been competing pretty well. Actually, just listened to a podcast on Bitcoin mining. It just kind of shows you how bullish people are. I also did add some long-term options to my trading portfolio, and we'll kind of go over that with the long-term portfolio update later into probably beginning of next month, maybe in the first or second week. So stay tuned and make sure you check out that video on our update. Again, did add some long-term dated options, and I think that's probably the thing that I'm most bullish right now on is the miners right now, either the common stocks or some long-term dated options, a 1 year or 2 year out. I think is probably the safer bet right now, and I'll kind of go over that when we do our long-term portfolio. But Bitcoin miners, really, really bullish. Listen to the podcast, and I'll make sure to link it down below for you guys. It basically just goes into, there's a lot of stuff going on with the Bitcoin miners right now. I think the halvening narrative and the dilutions they've been doing right now to buy new and get more efficient miners has probably been the reason why price hasn't been working as well and hasn't been appreciating with Bitcoin. But I think that narrative's kind of settled itself out after the halvening, and after the halvening we're going to see the dust settle, and then we're going to see Mara, CleanSpark, Riot, some of these guys who are performing and set up for the post-halvening. I think it's going to do great. And I think a lot of the things that people don't realize is that ZK rollups are coming to Bitcoin. L2 activities coming to Bitcoin. Ordinals has been kind of exploding, and I've been really on top of the ordinals or the Bitcoin NFTs as well too. So that's just another really long-term bullish, and I don't think a lot of people are putting and accounting that into the pricing of some of these miners right now. And then I'm also holding some common shares for really long term. I really do think that these miners are going to be able to generate yields, and then by selling these Bitcoins, some of the miners are actually starting their own trading desk and then buying and selling and hedging Bitcoin as well too. So a lot of really good developments coming from the mining space. I don't think this is analogous to gold mining because, the gold miners weren't able to collect fees. They were just able to mine gold, but Bitcoin miners right here, they're able to kind of capitalize on that network activity. And I think more and more activity is going to be coming onto Bitcoin. And I don't think that's going to kind of stop anytime soon. So very bullish on miners overall, short term, medium term, and long term. I hope you guys enjoyed the update for today. And again, I'm not going to be doing an update tomorrow since the market's going to be closed. But if something does go wrong, I'll make sure to post a video out for you guys to watch. But if not, I'm going to spend some of that time tomorrow doing my deep dive, and we'll talk about psychology. So make sure to check that video out as well too. So I'll check you guys out next time. Have a good weekend.